Welcome back, Diecast racing fans. I'm Jay, one of the hosts with Diecast Motorsport, and you are tuning in to our modified JDM tournament. We're about to wrap up the quarterfinals here. We've got groups 3 and 4 competing in this episode. We will fill out the rest of our semifinal qualification slots. Here's Group 3, end count on the far left, followed by Arlo, Leo, and Bolo Brown on the far right. Let's take a look at our tournament bracket. There's the two groups racing in this episode. There's our race format. We'll have 4 races as usual. The grid will rotate each time. Top 2 in points will advance in each group to the semifinals. All right, let's get things going. Here's race 1. End count in that orange eclipse in the front left. And the group takes off. End count still leading around turn 3. Leo with a pass. Nice overtake for Leo. He is now in second. End count wins this one. Followed by Leo, Arlo, and Bolo Brown in 4th place. So end count kicking things off with 5 points and a nice sub 12-second lap time. Let's slow it down. Here we go. End count. Good defense there against Arlo around turn 2. And here's Leo sneaking by Arlo just before turn 3. A lot of speed out of Leo there. Really nice move. I think Arlo may have gotten slowed down a little bit by end count, who blocked. But Leo picks up the overtake and end count wins the race. All right, here we go. Race 2. Bolo Brown now with the pole position in the front left corner. And the group takes off. Bolo Brown still leading this race. Arlo with an overtake. Arlo got by end count there. Now tries to get Bolo Brown, but Bolo Brown blocks. Nice move there by Bolo Brown. And we lost Leo, who had a nice overtake in the previous race. Leo DNFs over at turn 4. So Bolo Brown, well done. 5 points for winning that race. Scoreboard tightens up a little bit there at the top. As we slow this race down, let's see what happened to Leo. And here's the overtake on end count by Arlo. Nicely done there at turn 3. Leo is drifting all the way down to turn 4. Lost all momentum. Just sort of topples over there at turn 4. And Bolo Brown, nice block on Arlo there to maintain that pole position, which we all know is very important to win your race when you get that pole position. End count crossing the line there in 3rd. All right, race 3, Leo, who just DNF'd last race, in the pole position. And Leo and Bolo Brown leading here. Bolo Brown got shoved on the rail, looked like by Leo. Leo way ahead of the group. Leo's got this one in the bag. Followed by end count. And we lost Arlo. And we lost Bolo Brown. Arlo is completely sideways just after the pond. Bolo Brown is stuck on the rail at the pond. That's turn 6. Leo, nicely done there, who really needed the points after a DNF earlier in this series of races. End count still leading with 10 points. Let's break this down first. Leo defending against Bolo Brown with a nose block. End count shoves Bolo Brown forward, but it's not enough speed. Leo's able to block again, pushing Bolo Brown on the rail. Here's Bolo Brown. Yeah, it looked like Arlo pushed Bolo Brown onto the rail up there at turn 5. He must have grinded the rail all the way down to turn 6. And Arlo must have got loose out of turn 6, completely sideways, came to a stop. All right, final race, race 4. Arlo in the pole position. And there they go. Arlo is still leading, followed closely by Leo. Oh, Arlo's pulling away now. Leo and Bolo Brown got tangled up. It's Arlo, Leo, Bolo Brown, and end count DNFs is completely sideways, similar to what we saw with Arlo in the previous race. So Arlo desperately needed those 5 points, was on the bottom of the scoreboard, if I'm not mistaken, coming into this race. Arlo leading nicely here. Bolo Brown and End Count get into a little mix-up. Then Leo. Oh, there's End Count completely sideways in turn 5. No wonder why he came to a stop on the track sideways. And Arlo led this race the entire time, really needed the points, and throws down an 11.4419. Ooh, and look at that, a tiebreaker. Arlo wins the tiebreaker against End Count with that solid lap time in race 4. So Leo and Arlo are going to advance to our semifinals, which means we need to say goodbye to End Count and Bolo Brown. Thank you both for competing in this event. All right. Next up, Group 4, Strike on the far left, followed by Terrence Jr., Deacon, and Puff in that blue Acura on the far right. So a tiebreaker situation. Once again, we've seen that before in this tournament with Arlo advancing. Here's race 1, Strike in the pole position. And the group takes off. Terrence Jr. takes the pole, and Puff gets by Strike. Wow. Terrence Jr. and whoa, Terrence Jr. spins out. Wow, we've got a photo finish. Did Strike get it? Yes. Strike picks up second against Puff. So Strike got overtaken by Terrence Jr. and Puff earlier in the lap, or the race rather, and comes back to at least take back second place from Puff. Not easy to do. Puff has a really fast car. There's Puff and Terrence Jr. at turn 2 making their overtakes. Puff makes a double overtake, gets by Strike. And then Terrence Jr. and Puff end up battling a bit here. Terrence Jr. gets completely sideways out of turn 6. Puff slams into him, slows down enough for Strike to catch up here, who had a really clean exit out of that final corner and is able to reclaim second place. All right, race 2, Puff in the pole position. And there they go. Oh, Strike, nice block on Terrence Jr. Strike in second. Terrence Jr. gets by Strike after a mix-up. It's Puff. Oh! Terrence Jr. gets sideways out of the final corner. It actually looked like Strike struck him on the side and caused him to spin out on that final straight. Strike able to take second place there. Wow. We need to slow this one down for sure. First, Strike makes a nice defensive move against Terrence Jr. there at turn 2. And actually is keeping up with Puff. Puff gets loose there. Puff completely sideways, almost completely sideways there out of turn 5. Strike runs into him, loses a position to Terrence Jr. Terrence Jr. gets sideways out of turn 6. Strike still keeping up. Puff leads, but look at Terrence Jr. and Strike battling it out here. Strike gets by. Terrence Jr. barely crosses the line. Deacon almost snuck by. All right. A lot of action there in race 2. Here we go with race 3. Deacon with the pole position. And Puff gets by Deacon. Terrence Jr., I believe, got by Strike. Puff leading very comfortably. No one in sight. It's Puff, Deacon, Terrence Jr., and Strike in that order. So Puff with a nice win. 5 points awarded to him. And a good track time, I believe, on that one. 11.7. Puff leading right now with 12 points. You can see Puff getting by Deacon and Terrence Jr. getting by Strike right there at turn 2. And Puff just separates from the pack. Ooh, Deacon spun out there, held up Terrence Jr. and Strike, creating a really big lead for Puff as we see the competitors finish up here. So well done, Puff. Here we go, final race. Terrence Jr. in that pole position. And the group takes off. Puff gets by Deacon. It's Terrence Jr. leading. Gets a little loose there. Puff's right in it. Now Deacon's back in it. And Terrence Jr. ends up winning this race. followed by Puff, Deacon, and Strike in 4th place. We'll slow it down here first. Puff getting by Deacon. He just has so much straight line speed. Maybe doesn't handle the best, but when he straightens that car out, he takes off. Look at this acceleration here. Catches right back up to Terrence Jr. Deacon then catches up to Puff, but gets blocked as Terrence Jr. crosses the line there. So well done to Terrence Jr. Let's see what the scoreboard says. It's Puff and Terrence Jr. advancing to the semifinals with a healthy margin in points. So congratulations to both of them. Like I said, we'll see them in the semifinals, which means we need to say goodbye to Strike and Deacon. Thank you both so much for competing in our event. Let's update our tournament bracket. There are your 8 semifinalists. Thank you so much for watching. We will have the semifinals next. Stay tuned for that.